Happy Sunday. Welcome to 12 Faces of Sober. I am Kenneth L. Watson Jr. Hope your Sunday is going good. I actually got out the house despite the fact that it was super duper hot here in Jacksonville. But I needed some fresh air just to, get my mind prepared for tonight's show. Hope you guys' weekend was pretty good. I really didn't do too much as far as my weekend. Pretty much is indoors, making a whole lot of TikTok videos. I'm not gonna be doing no dance moves or anything like that, but I will continue to try to grow content and everything. And what's going on, Doug? How you doing, man? I look forward to jumping on your show in September. So yeah, so I didn't really do too much. Just cleaned up. I should have did laundry, but I kind of forgot about doing it. But I'll get to it this week. I got a trip coming up, so I got to make sure I get this out the way before I go. But tonight, this is 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast, and this is episode 19. I continue to search around and go through a lot of different social media pages and groups, and more or less just try to find positive people that have a great story. And needless to say, my guest today, she has a great story, and she expresses her story through words. And like I said, some people like to see it in video. I myself, I like to see it in words. And tonight's guest is her name is Adrienne, and she also is she's on, like I said, she's here on Instagram, and her handle is Sober Black Society. And I look forward to talking to her because, like I said, with each post it has a story. And not only a story, it has a good hope for others. So hold on a second. I think she just sent a request. Let's see. Oh, here we go. It worked. All right. Hello. Welcome. Thanks again for joining 12 Faces of Sober Speaks podcast. Like I said, I'm going to tell the story. I'm not going to put you on super blast, but I reached out to you a while back, and I was like, hey, I would love to have you on the show. You're like, right now, I'm not ready yet, but there, you left the door open in the future. And one thing I did like is that you reached back out, and I gave you your space. I wasn't going bug you, hey, you got to come back on, but I am truly thankful that you reached out, and like I said, tonight we're making it happen. So before that, make sure you guys, I got a sale going on for my 1-year anniversary for my book 12 Faces of Sober. So you guys I don't know, that was fireworks or a gunshot. But now you can shop the merch, 12facessober.com. Click order now for the book. And if you want to get this hoodie right here, you can click on it. It's right there on the homepage. To the left of the gray hoodie is the gold 12 Faces Sober t-shirt. And also there's some pictures and everything from the starting of my sober journey up until roughly about a month ago. So you guys can kind of see, you got a visual of my journey. And enough of me talking. I'm going to go ahead and let my guest go ahead and introduce herself, and then we're going to jump right in. So, Adrienne, welcome to 12 Faces Sober Speaks podcast.
Like he was saying,
wait a minute.
Adrienne. Okay. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, so as he was saying, my name is Adrienne. I am the creator of Sober Black Society. I've been in part of the Instagram community now since like April, so it's been like 4 or 5 months or so. I'm from Missouri, but I currently live in Atlanta, and I've been sober for a year now. So yeah, just a little bit about me.
Thanks, bro. Hey, what's going on? My dude out right outside of Orlando. What's happening, bro? Now you said you're from Missouri. What part of Missouri?
I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, home of the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Oh, did you say the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm a Chargers fan. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, so what you know about Gates Barbecue?
a lot. Yeah. So
Okay.
I'll let you as soon as you go get in there. I love Gates. My favorite though is probably Jack Stacks. Have you been to Jack Stacks?
Okay. No, I that was the only place I went to was
Oh,
between that and then it was at one, I think it was on some on one of those Food Network channels. Arthur
Arthur Bryant.
Arthur some yeah, I went there.
I
hmm
actually
Yeah,
never
I
even.
went okay. Yeah, it was all right. I liked Gates better, no shade or anything like that. But
Yeah.
you said you were you living in Atlanta. It's kind of interesting you say that because I had went to college in Atlanta back in '99.
What school did you
Many,
go to?
I went to Clark Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Did you
Cool.
go to school out there?
No, I actually. Okay. So I went to school in Missouri, and then
Okay.
after I graduated, I got a job here in Atlanta. So back in like 2012, I moved out here. So I will be here 9 years in 2 days. Like on Tuesday, it'll be 9 years since I've been living here. So every
Okay.
college, I've been out here. So yeah, I didn't go to school here, but I know lots of people who went to Clark Atlanta. I've been to their homecomings. It's been real fun.
Okay.
Definitely back in my non-sober days, I was out there.
Right. 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 That's what's up. Now, so you mentioned that you're sober. Like I said, congratulations on being sober 1 year and 3 months yesterday. So I salute you to that. I celebrate my anniversaries once a month, but I think it was a surprise when I mentioned it to you. So you probably don't celebrate them like I do.
Yeah, yeah. I
Right.
don't. I
Right.
like most people in the sober community. You guys track it by like months, like 15 months. I'm
hmm
like a year and some change.
hmm Yeah. And so when did you like realize that alcohol became a problem?
So I started drinking before I was probably supposed to in college. So probably when I was around 18, because I'm like naturally I'm an introvert and I'll always struggle like making friends because I was more on the quiet side. So once I got to college, I wanted to like, reinvent myself and be like the cool girl and not like, just quiet, meek Adrienne that I had normally been. So, I started drinking and right away, honestly, really the first time I ever drank, like I feel like it was a problem, but I felt like I was getting rewarded from my peers. More people wanted to hang around me. I don't know. In hindsight, they probably just wanted to see the train wreck and they just thought it was funny and like just wanted to make fun of me probably. I don't know. But like I just felt like, oh, I have all these friends, like life's good. But really early on, like I couldn't handle my alcohol. Like I would like black out and like lose gaps in time, and I just really, because of that, I like put myself in really dangerous situations. People have taken advantage of me and things like that. So yeah, so pretty really like probably like late teens, early 20s, I knew like right away that it was an issue. But I just thought that I could like say, oh, next time I won't drink as much, and or
hmm
I need to just drink slower, and I would just keep on trying to say, oh, I'm going to do this next time, but then I would keep going reverting back to my bad ways. So yeah.
Now you mentioned about like blacking out. Did you ever find yourself like getting into any kind of like trouble, like DUIs, arrests, stuff like that?
Luckily, no. I have not ever myself, getting a DUI or anything like that, but I've been almost hit by a car because I would
Ooh.
just like dart across the street and friends the next day would like have to like tell me things. Like I said, like when I was say was taken advantage of, I've been raped because of it.
Mm.
Things I just put myself in like really like uncomfortable situations. But I should have gotten, I just thought about that. I probably should have a DUI. One time I got pulled over when I was about 24 years old. I thought I was just going around the corner, and I was going around the corner and I was like, okay, I can just make it. I can make it to my grandma's house. And I got pulled over. The cop was like, hey, have you been drinking? I'm like, no, not really. He's like, don't lie because I can smell it. And I was like,
Mm.
actually, yeah, I have, but I'm not drunk. Like, please, like, And he was like, well, because it was midnight going into Mother's Day, and he was like, well, he's like, where does your grandma live? I'm like, she's just right up the street. And he was like, well, I'm going to follow you home to make sure you make it home safely because I don't want to arrest you and give you a DUI and have your mom pick you up on Mother's Day. So I've definitely put myself in those type of situations, but like by the grace of God, like I did not get a DUI that night. And after that, like I started doing more Ubers.
Mm. Now see that, yeah, I'm glad you share that because there's, it was that one time, but there's people that like myself who kept driving, and it didn't. Well, I mean, I was lucky and fortunate that I never got a DUI, but I know I probably should have had probably about 50 or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. But I mean, that's good that at least that you took the responsibility to not, what I'm saying, get behind the wheel, like I said, like others. And now now I was looking at your posts and everything, and it pretty much you mentioned that during your first year of sobriety, how you didn't seek a counselor. Now, would you mind going into a little bit more detail as to why you chose not to?
Honestly, like me not drinking was very like I didn't necessarily plan on to stop drinking when I did, but at the time, like it was my then boyfriend, now fiance, like, we would just have like conversations and he would just be worried about me all the time. And he would just like, we weren't even married, or we don't have children or anything. He'd be like, I don't want to be a single father. Like, I don't trust that. Like, I don't know if I want to take this next step in our life with you because I don't know, like, if you're going to be around. Like, I don't want to have to be up at night worrying about you. And like, I would like fall asleep in Ubers and stuff like that. So even though I wasn't driving, I was still doing like weird, crazy crap. So, you know, and like, of course my grandmother, like, family members like cared and stuff about me. So it was like, so when I decided to stop drinking, it was really abrupt. So I didn't
Mm.
really even think about like now I know there's like these all these programs and of course you see stuff on TV, but I didn't like even thoroughly research it. And when I got sober, it was during COVID. I guess I could have looked into stuff online, but honestly I just was like, okay, I can do it on my own. And
Mm.
it wasn't until honestly I'm still doing it on my own. It wasn't really until like after I got closer to my year mark that I was like, yo, this is hard. Like I'm seeing all of my friends move on without me. It's almost like I know they love me and they have love for me, but like I'm definitely not close to many people anymore. And I
Mm.
just so isolated and alone. And I'm like, I need to connect with someone who like just gets me or like has a similar life path as me because I just feel like completely alone. And like, yeah, I have my fiance, he doesn't drink, but he's never drank. So like he doesn't get it. It's not the same like if you never really drank alcohol that like he's like, okay, cool, we don't drink. That's not a big deal. I'm like, no, this is a huge deal for me. So I just needed so I just went through, so I didn't even think about like connecting with anyone until like I started reading books. And then I was like I was getting my oil change one day and I was reading the book by Holly Whitaker. What is it called? Quit Like a Woman, how to, I forget the exact title, but anyway, so I was reading that and the guy saw my book and he was like, oh, are you like, he's like, are you sober? And I was like kind of low-key embarrassed. I'm like, I mean, I don't drink. I mean, yeah, I'm sober. And he's like, so I thought he was judging me. And then he was like, I've actually been sober for 10 years. And I was like, oh my
Mm.
God. And just the excitement that I felt from when he told me that he had been sober for 10 years and we had like that connection. I was like, I just feel so alone. And he was like, he told me that he went to AA and he's like, you definitely need to be involved in a community. And then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should like look into something. So.
Yeah, I would strongly do it because when when the I went to rehab this last time, and then I pretty much just hit it running. I went to grad school, but where I was going to AA was like about an hour and a half from where I was going to college at. So whenever I would go home for the weekends and hang out with my family, I would go to the AA right there in the city my mom lived in, and the counselor. But like I said, I had a lot of issues. I was dealing with a divorce that was in the process, and just adjusting to leaving Arizona, going to Minnesota, and so I had to. And like I was just not even a year removed from being out the army, so I definitely would. It doesn't necessarily just speak to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you know, it doesn't necessarily like, you know, you have to go to AA or you know what I mean, but get whatever demons you have, just get it out because you know, I've been to 3 rehabs and said I wanted to stop drinking, but then kept drinking, or you know, started the process, but then went back. So you know, whatever it is that you need to do, just make sure you know what I'm saying that you get you know somebody that's professional that can kind of just you know guide you through it to make sure okay you don't even have to see the person every day or you know I mean not every day but as often but because that's what I've done even now is that like now that I'm here in Florida I don't necessarily go to AA. As a matter of fact, I'll be honest, I haven't been to AA since I've been here in Florida. But when I do go back to Minnesota, I do, or I do my Zoom calls. So, but yeah, definitely. And then even with my counselor, like for a while, I think it was last year during the pandemic, I didn't even have a counselor. And I don't even know how I was able to get through it, with the exception of my lady, because she has a background in social work. So she was my therapist for a while. So, but yeah, but definitely I recommend it. And now, you told me some things in terms of, you know, about yourself, the background, but now I want to go into some of these wonderful posts. And ladies and gentlemen, again, you definitely want to follow her because these posts they will keep you on your toes and question like, okay, is this sober thing really for me? And you know, and I believe that she's truly speaking from her heart and she's just telling it like it is. And like I said, so you like stuff that's right there, raw and uncut, then you're gonna like these. But I got 3 of them that we're gonna discuss, and I'm gonna share them. I'm sorry, I'm gonna read it, and then we'll just have a discussion.
Okay.
The first one is if you're making positive changes, prove naysayers wrong. You'll never be happy. People have a lot to say when you're doing bad, but nothing to say when you're killing it. So you never receive the validation you require. Find that motivation from within and surround yourself with people you've never felt the urge to please.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so I started this page because like I said, I didn't have anyone to talk to. I would like post like little me. I would repost other people's memes on my personal page, and I was just speaking to nobody. Like no one would like get me. So I was like, okay, no one probably wants to hear about. I'm the only sober person here, so let me create a community where I can like talk my shit and say what I want to say, what I'm going through. Like at that time, no one I knew was following me, so I was just like saying like kind of like whatever. And I just felt like when I was drinking heavily, and like ruining bachelorette trips and like, you know, just being the buzzkill because everyone has to take care of Adrienne, right? When I was doing all that, people had a lot to say about me, you know, and like, you know, just had stuff to say. But when I started doing good, I expected people to be like, oh my God, girl, finally, you know, but unfortunately they were still kind of like, you don't drink, like why? Like I'm like, you of all people, you had the most to say about me. Like you should be like, oh my God, please never drink again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for you. But it's like it's almost like you liked me when I was drinking because you could just be like, well, I might drink too much, but I'm not as bad as Adrienne. So like I'm fine, you know? So I just felt like, you know, I feel like at first I felt like I was doing this whole sober thing to like get people to be like, oh, I'm so proud of you, like good job. But then those claps never came. And I was
Right.
just, you know what? I need to do this for my fiance helped me realize that like you need to do this for yourself. Like anything you do in life, like this is for you. Like you're trying to better yourself. Forget what anyone else has to say because they might not have your best interests at heart anyway. So don't do anything to prove naysayers wrong because you're gonna always keep looking for this validation and they're never gonna give it to you. So
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like, I just had somebody like truly question me. This was like, I'd probably say right before I went to Minnesota. So in June, I had went over to a buddy of mine's house, and they were drinking. And then he was like, you know, and he knew because I had already talked to him previous to us hanging out that night about my sober journey. And then, you know, and there's nothing, no shade. I was just hanging out with some Haitian dudes. And so each person that came to the function, it was like 10 of them. They all had their own individual bottles. So I'm the only one there that's like not drinking. And so like, I told my homeboy, I was like, man, look, man, I'm telling you, I'm not comfortable. But I was like, he invited me over to the barbecue. And so I was like, I'll just hang out. But, and one of the guys, he was like, yeah, man, I don't understand why you don't drink. I'm like, I had a bad pancreas. I dang near died. I was in a hospital for 9 days. I lived in a homeless shelter for 42 days before getting sober this last time. I know what it feels like living, you know what I mean? Like, I was in a homeless shelter on the same street that I lived on in Phoenix. Like, this is no joke. So I'm explaining to him, and he's still, of course, intoxicated, but I just don't understand. And I said, well, you got a few more years to understand, because I think he might have been like in his early 30s. And I said, look, man, I'm about to be 42, and I don't want to go through that. And I said, at least this decade, this will be my first decade that I haven't had any alcohol. And so in life, so I'm like, I'm going to continue to enjoy it and embrace it. So that's number one. Now let me get to the second one, because these are some good posts. Let me see. Hold on. Right then you can. Hold on, you got it. All right. And this is actually close ties to the one we just talked about. This one is some people will judge you for no longer drinking, all the while secretly wishing that they could do the same. Don't internalize other people's insecurities. And again, but yeah, so we'll go ahead. You can share it, and I'm gonna give you another or a couple examples as well.
Okay, yeah. So I just feel like since I've been going through this sober journey, I've been learning a lot about myself, and a lot of the insecurities I have had in the past has been I realize now have been stemmed from other people's like perceptions of me, or what they would say to me, like how they would view me and what they would say to me negatively. And all this time I've been, when I was drinking, I feel like, I don't know if I was just like in la la land, I just like literally internalized everything they would say to me. And then one day I realized, I'm like, once I got sober and I'm like really took a step back from a lot of relationships, I'm like, this person is self-projecting. Like they might have an issue with alcohol, and you know, they I think that they're like, you know, judging me for not drinking and everything, but in reality they know that they have an issue with something too. And just me living my life and living in my truth, it makes them feel a way like, oh, it's almost like it's a spotlight shined on them. So that's pretty much where that post stemmed from. I'm just like, okay, I don't really want to call anyone's name out or anything like that, or give
No.
too specific of examples. But yeah, it was just a bunch of people in my life who judge me for something, but in reality, I know like you're struggling with the same thing or something else, and me doing better, you feel like I'm calling you out or judging you for, you know, not for something. So
Yeah, I like that one because, like I said, when I first got sober, I more or less was, you know, there was somebody that I was hanging out with back in like the early 2000s. And, you know, when I worked in radio, I worked in the clubs. And so the person knew how, you know, the person had seen me at my worst. And so I don't know if they thought like, okay, this particular time, I'm not going to, you know, oh, I'm going to go back. I'm going to have a relapse. And so she invited me over, had a function. And I was just like, man, I already know what goes down over here, you know, but she got mad at me and we had a really big falling out. And to this day, I still haven't talked to her. And that was in 2017. And it was more or less like, you know, she was like, you can still come over. And I'm like, dude, I'm on like literally month 2 of being sober. There's no way I'm going to be in like a closed house or confines or like a little townhouse and everybody's drinking but me. Like I knew my past, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't trust myself early in sobriety. And that's one of those things where I had to avoid people. Only time I was truly around those who were drinking was my family, but they knew not to be all in my face and stuff like that. But hold on a second. I don't know if that's service is yours. Hold on. All right. So yeah, but yeah, it's and I've noticed it too. Like a lot of, and not to call any particular friend or mine or people that follow me, I've had a lot of people reach out and have been like, they'll have that one side of them, the lifestyle of, hey, they're drinking, they're flashing, you know, taking the pictures, whatever alcohol they're drinking, whatever club, but then will inbox me and be like, yeah, I think it's time for me to make some changes. And I'm like, hey, I'm always here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, at least they're being that blunt with you because I feel like in my experience, they're like not being that blunt with me. They're like, that can never be me. Like I was saying earlier, like it's just like that can never be me. Like, why would you want to do that? Like, da da da. And it's like I know, like the fact that you're even feeling the need to comment on my post lets me know that there's some internal issue because this page is for sober people, and if you have no intent to be sober, why is this triggering you? Like, you can keep
Mm,
scrolling or unfollow me. Like,
yeah,
you don't have. So like, just someone commenting on it lets me know that there might be some type of insecurity there because I'm not talking to you. If this bullet's not meant for you, duck. Like I'm not talking to you. So I don't know, but
yeah,
at least they're being honest with
yeah.
you. I wish I could secretly do it.
Yeah, I had a gentleman yesterday on TikTok. I just kind of been just going down a list, nothing in general as far as, because like I said, I don't necessarily follow the AA principles. I know them, not by memory, but I know them and have worked the steps. But I'm just trying to like show people like, okay, this is what worked for me. And this is what has kept me sober. Somebody who struggled with alcohol for 12 years strong, and had a full-time job, half of that during the military. So, but yeah, he just kept coming at me. He was like, what's your purpose? And, why 12 faces of sober? And I'm like, well, I got drunk at 12, first time, 12 years of battling, and then I kept going into detail. Then I can tell that he was trolling. And I was just like, man, this ain't necessary. Like, I'm just, every post that I'm posting now is all positive. I'm not even on, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because I don't have time for it. Like because I want to convey the message. Like, look, nothing is gonna get me off my square enough to where you're gonna get a reaction from me. So,
Right.
but yeah, I like that. I got one more for you. So
Okay.
just hold on, bear with me. Which all right. This is actually the last. Wait, let me see. All right. And this is one of your, I would say, one of your first posts. When you finally decide to give up alcohol, you expect your current friends to cheer for you. When the cheers inevitably don't come, you learn to cheer for yourself. Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Another good gem, and it ties in to the other ones that I picked as well. Yeah, you in a lot of ways you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna okay. All right, Doug. Thank you for coming in again, bro. I appreciate it. Enjoy that food. But yeah, I had to realize that I had to be my biggest supporter because when I first got in out of treatment, I went straight to grad school. So it was like I'm in this apartment by myself, just going to class. So I had to trust myself. And people would invite me, even though I hadn't been going to those bars in like 14 years. Hey, you want to go downtown? Like, nah, I'm good. Like I don't want to be in that lifestyle. But I had to trust myself. So, I want you to, talk about that one. That,
Right.
let the people know about that.
Right. A lot of these posts that you're pulling up are like, I think are one of my first ones. I can just think that even from those posts, you can see like, I feel like I was definitely coming from a place of like hurt
Mhm.
because I feel like I don't know how many months I was sober before I decided to share it. This is before Sober Black Society even existed. Um, I don't know how many long I was sober. By the time I actually came out, I was like, you know what? Let me say something because there could be someone else, like, who might, feel the same way, might want to quit, or like maybe, already have and just struggling. I was like, maybe I should share my story. I don't know. It was just on my heart to share my story. So I post some things on my personal page. And when I tell you I got literal crickets from like some of the people who I expected to like who know my struggle, like I thought they would just be like, "Oh my God, girl, I'm so happy for you." Even if they don't want to, if they want to continue to drink, that's fine. But I just thought they would be like, "Oh my God," like just like your besties, like you expect them to be like, "Oh my God, good girl, good job," And it just didn't happen. And that's when I was like, "Oh my goodness, like I'm gonna start this page and like find new friends." When I said find your tribe, I still looking for mine. Like I mean, I'm slowly getting there, but like I was really in a place where I was like, okay, these like I'm not getting any type of encouragement, any type of anything from anybody. Just more so, I was getting more so distance and put it at a side. Oh well, we're not inviting you anywhere anymore. Like people would say that, so I just kind of was like, okay, well, I just wanted to, like, I didn't want anyone else to feel how I was feeling. So that's why I wrote that post for this page. And I'm like, find your tribe. Like, don't expect people to clap for you. Like, people who, and that's okay. You have to find that strength within yourself and like be so and not care about what you say. So that's why I said that. Find your tribe, because the tribe is so important to have. Like, I don't have a sober tribe, but I do have friends who like don't drink a lot, and like, you know, they really do support me. So I'm kind of really trying to distance myself from the people who really are low key, like not supportive, and then just surround myself with people who show me like a overflow of love. So
Yeah, that's real dope, and it's definitely important. See, when I moved back to Minnesota, you know, I've lived there a lot of different, you know, a lot of different times from like 2000 to 2019, and of course I met a lot of people over that time, and it was like that group, like you said, the group who drank, that was in that party lifestyle, and then it was just like those that still do it, and then there's some that's like, okay, that lifestyle is over with. So I kind of had to pick and choose, you know, where, you know, do I still want to hang out with these people, or do I want to find a new group? And I never found that new group until I started to truly be expressive, you know, with my journey, and just being honest, and then just telling it like it is. And then the friends requests were growing and stuff like that. And I still want to meet more people, because like I said, as I mentioned early, that you never know that one person that'll just reach out to you today and be like, man, all right, you know what I'm saying? Or you see a post and you're like, that's what I needed, you know what I'm saying, to get the day going, or even if I'm having a rough day. So yeah, and I would say it's important. It's important to kind of, you know, pick and choose, because you're gonna gain some friends and you're gonna lose some friends, and it's the same way with family members. You know what I mean? Because not everybody is gonna understand what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If it's for health, like for me, I had all kind of health issues. My pancreas was bad, high blood pressure, but then some people was like, you still want to drink? And I'm like, I can't. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
but that's what's important, is that, you know, I guess in a way is like you figure out who's a real friends and who's not, and who's going to truly support you during this journey, or who's going to be like, you know, like you said, they wish they could be, you know, in that position. So that's pretty cool. Let me see. Hold on. And then, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, like, I think it's really important that, you know, especially if you are like early in sobriety, or like in my case, got a couple extra years under my belt than my guests, to find some people that are posting positive things. And it's not saying that, okay, you have to follow word for word what they said, but it just gets your mind thinking. It may take your mind off of whatever problems you had if you were drinking, but now you have that opportunity to read something and you know, get your mind, you know, running in a good way. But again, please follow my guest. Follow her, please, because she posts, and I know that she said that you said these are old posts, right? Or these are some of these are
started in April, so they're relatively
okay. All right. Well, I want to make sure, because I'm like, I don't want to be like, oh, she posted these like last year, but they're not super old, but just okay. Make sure you guys, you know, follow Sober Black Society and give her some encouraging words, comment on her positive on her post, and let her know how much this may impact you. You know, that's what's important, especially in the sober communities, because it could be that one message, be like, hey, that can just, you know, keep you sober, as they just mentioned, one day at a time. That's what it's all about, and that's all we have, really. You know. But let's see. Now, I noticed also on your page you have, you know, you have a lot of different black celebrities that are sober, and I thought it was pretty dope. I didn't know all of them. I'm gonna just touch on it just in case if they, you know, people haven't gotten on the page yet. But you have 50 Cent, Jada Pinkett Smith, very surprised about Kendrick Lamar, Candy Burris, surprised about her as well. Naomi Campbell, Pharrell Williams, Tyler the Creator, Common, and I actually was interviewed about a month ago, and I had mentioned one of my favorite celebrities that was sober, and I mentioned Samuel L. Jackson. So I thought that was pretty cool that you had that picture. Now, I guess my question is like, you have these celebrities, and I won't necessarily just pinpoint one, but I'll just say you have celebrities that are sober, but some still own alcohol, beverages. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like, how like myself, like, how can I trust somebody that's saying, okay, I'm sober, but they're over here holding a pitcher of vodka. I understand it's money and it's revenue, but it's kind of hard. But so I guess my question is that, what are your thoughts about that? And it's not throwing no shade, so we don't have to mention names, but it's just more or less like, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, so I feel like I wasn't really surprised when, like, for the person that we're speaking about, like, because we know he's all about money. We're talking about, we can say 50, he's about money. I never come from a place of being judgmental. Would I personally do it? No, but I feel like the reason I'm sober and the reason that 50 Cent's sober is for two different reasons.
Right.
First, I don't think he's never had, from what I've seen or read, he's never really had an issue with alcohol. He doesn't like it. It just wasn't for him. And like some people just don't like the taste of alcohol. So if you don't have like if bad things have haven't happened, well, he has said he has seen like family members, it affected family members negatively. But for real, like, if you, like, it hadn't happened to him personally, so I feel like he doesn't have as emotional connection for being sober as we do. So I feel like that's how he's probably able to advertise alcohol, because, like, and all those type of things. Whereas you and I, like, I feel like it's more like we know what it actually has done to us personally. It's one thing seeing it happen to your family, and then like seeing like what it has done to you and your own experiences. So I feel like for us, it's like a no-brainer. Like, no, I'm not promoting alcohol. I'm not, like, I don't care about how much money in the world. But for him, I just feel like his reasoning is different. I still like to showcase all different types of celebrities who are sober, just because I just want, like, you think the cool people that these cool rappers who are having these brands, doing this, are living this like bigger, like this life of just turning up and partying and just drinking and being drunk all the time, when a lot of times that's not reality. But sometimes they might want to create the image that they are, so they can sell you a product. They're not necessarily living that life, because guess what? He's about business, and he cares about his business, and he doesn't care what happens to you. You can keep throwing your money at him all you want to, but he's going to make sure he's sane and not going to be making bad decisions on his own. So
That's true. That's true. And so what are some of your plans, your future plans, navigating through this, as you put it, your sober society, gaining or growing within the community?
Right. So I've been really putting a lot of thought into that. I always knew that I wanted to eventually create some like high-end merch, things that I like to wear, because I'm really into like fashion and things like that. So I wanted to like create like cute little things that I haven't necessarily seen be put out there. So I know eventually I want to do that. I know that I also want to eventually do like more so like a club or a group of people where we do social things. Like right now, I don't know if you noticed on my page, I started posting like sober activities, because I do get a lot of people asking me like, what do you do for fun? Like, people don't even know what to do outside of alcohol. I'm like, really? You can just do a lot of the same things that you used to do, but just don't drink. But like, I feel like people see that, and they need to see that like there's still fun outside of alcohol. There's still like so much things that you can do. So I want to create like a group of people where we can just have hangouts, like monthly hangout sessions, like, hey, this month we're going to do this activity, this month we're going to do this activity. But before I even really get into any of those realms, I really think that this page is becoming like, I have a lot going on out in my personal life. I'm just a lot of moving pieces. So I really need someone to help me run this page eventually, like someone who I just feel like we vibe, we have like similar like, I don't know, someone like tasting things, like, like someone who can help me grow this. Because I told you at the beginning of this, I'm naturally an introvert. I don't necessarily enjoy speaking, like going out, putting myself out there. So I kind of really want to partner with someone who's more extroverted and who can get me, because I will just live behind Sober Black Society in posts all day, and like you will never see me. Like that's where I feel. I really just want to be behind the scenes, but I want to bring in someone who is as passionate about sobriety as I am, who's fun, who's outgoing, and who's going to really get me out of my comfort zone and like do some more cool ideas that I have in mind. But I'm just like, okay, I'm never going to execute this well on my own because I'm just too introverted. So.
And I appreciate you coming out your comfort zone and coming on the podcast. I really, really and truly do. And but also, before we wrap it up, I just wanted to tell you, continue, continue writing, continue, being as expressive as you are, because like I said, people need to read it. People need to see, like for me, I'd rather see these words than see somebody act a fool on TikTok making these videos. And but that's another community of sobriety that I'm like, I can't do all that, but I'm gonna talk. I can do that part. But yeah, like I said, that definitely right is just share, because like I said again, you never know who needs to see it at that particular moment. It could be early in the morning, midday, at night, or if somebody has withdrawals and in the middle of the night. It's always there and readily available. So and like I said, I can go through your whole entire page, and almost every single one of these can be relatable to somebody, or it'll be able for someone to understand. So I definitely salute you on that, and I would definitely advise keep it going. Let's see. And I just want to wish you, nothing but, peace and joy. You have, you have a good energy. You got good, a great soul. And this is what the sober community needs. It's not textbook. It's not step 1 to step 12 and then do it again, or go work step 5 because you're having a bad day. It's make this sobriety your story, your journey, and then hopefully it can help others to be able to choose the same exact thing. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because like I said, I've learned not only just from following you, but I learned a lot more today doing this research and, actually hearing you speak. That's why I was like, I'm gonna wait to the last minute. I'm not going, let's talk about it for, so many days before, because it's like, nah, because I know that will be, control the flow of the conversation. Right, and it did just that. So, let's see. Be sure you guys to follow. Before that, do you have anything else? Do you have anything else you want to share? You have any questions for me before we go on?
No, I'm good. I don't have any additional questions, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, make sure you guys be sure to follow Sober Black Society and shop the merch on 12 Faces of Sober. Adrienne, again, thank you so much for coming on, and keep doing good things out there in Atlanta.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch. I'll probably check back with you maybe in like 6 months or so, have you back on, and just get an update of how things are going.
Okay, thank you. It was a good chat. Thank you for all your questions.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Bye.
All right, goodbye.